Class of 2025, you may be seated. Welcome. Thank you to everyone present tonight, especially our marvelous Madeira faculty, Mr. Kennedy, Ms. Bloomstrom, Mr. Bergen, Mr. Matsudo, parents, grandparents, and most importantly, the class of 2025. As class officers, we've gotten to know everyone in the grade. And let me tell you, there are some wonderful individuals speaking tonight. So without further delay, it is my pleasure to introduce my fellow officer, Sebi, tonight's Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Ava. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the time when our grade comes together and recognizes one another. It is among the most important events of the senior year, but 25 years ago, this was not the case. Only 20% of students and very few faculty members actually showed up. What a depressing way to celebrate a graduating class. Mrs. Hammond, a now retired English teacher from Madeira, she saw that baccalaureate needed to change. She enhanced this event by offering all students in the grade a chance to speak at baccalaureate. This allowed a variety of voices and memories to be shared and heard. Over time, this evening evolved from a traditional service to a contemporary night that each graduating class is given to mold into whichever shape fits them best. On the topic of contemporary, our first speaker, the sharpest dressed person I know of, aside from myself, of course, has quite the personality, and he has quite the story to tell us. Legendary actor, world-class cinematographer, and the only man alive allergic to peaches. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to my longtime friend, Will Jenkins.
Thank you, Sebi. Hello, everybody. It is a pleasure and an honor to be giving my second speech in this room this year. Whoever let me do that again, bad call. Even worse, you made me do it as the first person this evening. I've talked about this before, but almost all of my life I've lived in Madeira. From preschool to this very speech, I've been a proud Mustang. However, there was a 4-month span where I didn't live here. I'm sure my classmates have heard about this multiple times. But during 6th grade, I had the opportunity to live in Singapore, a country in Southeast Asia. This experience was simply life-changing. My worldview has expanded, I gained appreciation for other cultures, and it fueled my love for travel that I will be taking advantage of in college. And the food, oh my God. I ate a pig's head down there, and I never thought I'd have such a pleasant surprise eating an ear. There were cons too, however. Living in a big city was intimidating. I was nervous to take the bus publicly, and the weather was so hot that if I fully described how I felt about it, I wouldn't be allowed to give this speech. But I think the biggest con is that I found myself comparing it to here constantly. And I've got to say, despite all the glitter and glamour that Singapore has, it couldn't compare to the experience that is Madeira, which is what I'm here to talk about today. I'll first compare what happened when I left both places. People ask me lots of questions like Madeira, like, where is Singapore? Do people speak English? Why are you going there? Then people forgot I was going to Singapore specifically, so then they start asking, where is Thailand? You're going to China, right? How far away is Japan? These questions, as you can imagine, got very annoying, but I always appreciated the fact that people were curious about where I was going. Leaving Singapore led to some different responses. I remember when I told one of my closest friends there, Elliot, that I was leaving school at the end of the week. He said verbatim, oh shoot, we'll see you, bro. That's it? I've been talking to you for the past 4 months, that's it? I think we can all figure out which farewell one would prefer. A lot of kids in Singapore didn't seem all bonded with each other, which is weird considering the grade at the time was 22 kids. You'd think they'd feel so close, but nope, total strangers. It didn't help that there were only 4 guys in that group of 22, including me. I remember one of those days, one of my first days, me, Elliot, and this other kid, Panya, were in art class. I was asking about the other kids in the grade. They kept saying, nah, don't talk to that kid. This kid's weird. Then I walked over to another kid and they said the same thing about different people. It was this weird cycle of hatred. Obviously, I wasn't getting any of it. I'm spectacular, but I felt bad for everyone else. and I honestly felt somewhat uncomfortable. Now I think about being here. I mean, I've made so many friends even in this past year. I got a nickname here. Willie J has stuck all 4 years, and it probably will among the staff. My nickname in Singapore was that American kid who sweat so much during field hockey it looked like he was crying. Here in Madeira, I see people talking to each other so casually, cracking jokes and learning more about each other. It's great to see, even though some of the teachers may get annoyed by it during class. I want to talk about the arts community we have here specifically. Now, Singapore had a theater program to even have a theater class, which Madeira should really consider adding as a theater kid myself. But even without that class, the people here felt so much more committed. The people here wanted to make art, and the school supports it, thankfully. Our marching band is great, and we've gotten superior ratings at state all 4 years, the first grade to ever do so. Both our choir and band went to Disney World to perform. In the past 4 years, Madeira Theater Arts has broken our personal record for tickets sold multiple times. Waiting for that. I say multiple because I don't know the exact number, but it's still impressive. People weren't as excited in Singapore. My theater director there, Monsieur Lebon, casted a show and some people quit immediately. One of them was me. But even before people quit, I could tell people weren't taking it seriously. People were also more uneased. In that Singaporean theater class I mentioned earlier, I watched all my classmates perform scenes as part of an exercise. Monsieur Lebon made it a competition, which made everyone focus on winning and not on the art form. As I wasn't there when they started the assignment and therefore couldn't take part in it, he asked me to pick a winner. And I was stressed, so stressed. He asked me in front of the whole class, "What did you think of this group?" And I didn't want to tell people they were bad, so I just said, "Yeah, it was good." He asked, "Is that it?" "Yep." I thankfully never had to perform that way thanks to leaving early and being here. There's a lot that I can attribute to that. I got to spend more time growing up with all of you. I got to tell fun stories about all the weird stuff I saw and did in Singapore. And got to do theater here, which gave me the final push I needed to continue doing acting and film for a living. I've been curious since I've left about who I would have been if I stayed there longer. Would I have been more shy? Would I become more clever from Singaporean city smarts? Would I have become cooler than I already am? We may never know. But I think I'm pretty happy with how things have turned out. And no matter how you ended up sitting in this spot, in this room, you should be happy you ended up here too. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to welcome two of my fellow theater friends, Nina and Morgan, to the stage, featuring Lord Mast as the segment's backing track.
Air in my lungs till the road begins. As the last of the birds leave their homes again, and I'm split in the road down the middle. For a minute the world seemed so simple. Feel the rush of my blood, I'm 17 again. I am not scared of death, I've got dreams again. It's just me in the curve of the valley, and there is meaning on earth. I am happy. Past my hammy road, I'm over the bridge. A minute from home, but I feel so far from it. The death of my dog stretch of my skin. It's all washing over me. I'm angry again. The things that I lost here, the people I knew, they got me surrounded for a mile or two. The car's in reverse, I'm gripping the wheel. I'm back between villages and everything's still.
I'll miss stage left.
I'll miss walking through hallways and knowing everyone's name.
I'll miss finding awful napping spots.
I'm gonna miss the PLC tables.
I'm gonna miss AP research in the PLC.
I'm gonna miss the way Miss Schmidt always encourages us.
I'm gonna miss my AP French class.
I'm gonna miss teasing my brother in the hallway.
I'm gonna miss going home with my brother every single day and walking home together.
I'll miss morning Dunkin' Donuts coffee trips with my sister.
I'm gonna miss the little ramp by the English hallway and the PLC.
I'm gonna miss my friends and family. I'm going to miss Madame's classroom.
I'm gonna miss Magistra.
I'm gonna miss Mr. Adams, he was so wise.
I'm gonna miss Bloom energy drinks from the cafeteria.
I'll miss hanging out with my best friends every day.
I'm gonna miss all of the amazing teachers, staff, and counselors, especially Miss Duffy.
I will miss Magistra.
I'm gonna miss all the amazing people in Madeira.
I'm gonna miss Mr. Avery. I'm gonna miss Kobe Ripper. I'm gonna miss Owen Dixon.
I'm gonna miss Mrs. Edwards.
Mr. Dell.
Academic team.
The things that I lost here, the people I knew, they got me surrounded for a mile or two. I've left at low Ennis, I'm driving past ghosts. Their arms are extended, my eyes start to close. The car's in reverse, I'm gripping the wheel. I'm back between villages and everything's still.
While most of tonight is spent looking at where the class of 2025 is today and where we'll be in the future, it would be remiss of us not to talk about everyone's 4 favorite years in Madeira, middle school. Luckily for us, our 11 to 14-year-old selves captured some of Madeira's most memorable activities. Join us as we take a trip down memory lane from 2017 to 2021.
From an early age, our grade has always had a ton of spirit. From dressing head to toe in our lighthouse colors to participating in every challenge possible, we've proved just how competitive we can be. The lengths we'd go to win were unmatched. Rules were loose, and let's just say cheating wasn't uncommon. I think we can all agree that the lighthouse tally days were some of the most stressful in middle school.
One of the most treasured middle school traditions was flocking towards downtown Madeira as soon as the bell rang on Friday afternoons. Some weeks we could make it to Starbucks in a matter of minutes. Although our arrival was likely dreaded by the Starbucks employees stuck working the Friday shift, these afternoons became some of our best memories together.
Even back in middle school, many of our friends were trendsetters and seen as the influencers of our grade. We've endured their countless makeup tutorials, expressive TikToks, and artsy boomerangs. Many could be found trying to go viral overnight, while others wound up making heartfelt apology videos the next morning. Here are a few of our favorite influencers from our early years and an ode to the most legendary video we have.
What really happens at a Mexican restaurant?
Hola, how are you doing tonight? Can I get you some sauce?
What is sauce?
Sauce.
Excuse me?
You eat it with your chips.
A major highlight of 7th grade is participating in empty bowls. We divided up into small groups, chose an organization to support, and hosted a great night for those causes that our whole community could be happy to support.
Well, almost everyone.
We've now reached one of the biggest letdowns in our middle school careers, the March Madness tragedy. While we all geared up to create elaborate debates, the world had a different plan and sent us all home for what we thought would just be 2 weeks. While we obviously didn't get the whole March Madness experience, we still found ways to connect with each other through our masks and quarantines.
Now, we've arrived at one of my favorite slides of the night, our middle school dynamic duos. Although none of the couples lasted, the memories and screenshots definitely did. I'll forever remember the awkward Starbucks walks that became entertainment for everyone else. And I'm glad we've all realized now that true love is more than an uncomfortable hug by the fountain downtown.
Middle school also had no shortage of fun activities in store for us. Some of our favorites included 7th grade eco tanks, ancient Rome day, the variety show, and the spelling bee. We even took walks to the library and competed in student council elections. I'll skip over the infamous cone versus tea glow incident, but I know we all remember that year's race.
No matter what we were doing, our grade knew how to have a fun time and make great memories together. We won't ever forget the year-long quest between Foley and Cousins in pursuit of Bishwamba and eventually Golden Ken, the days of Thought Pot Wars, or the long-awaited trip to Rumpke.
It is without a doubt that the class of 2025's athletic ability runs deep. Today, our grade holds 32 athletic records and has made 20 state appearances. But middle school is where our time in the blue and gold jerseys began. We are so thankful to our middle school coaches that helped grow our passions and start our many successful seasons.
Additionally, productions of Annie, High School Musical, and Schoolhouse Rock may be the most iconic of our after-school activities. A lot of these pictures could be found circling the Octopus group chat, and I think we all had them as our screensavers at least once. We can now see how far we've come as a musically inclined grade. I mean, Mean Girls was definitely one of my favorite productions by far.
This now brings us to our final chapter of middle school, 8th grade. While we didn't get to make all the traditional 8th grade memories, like going on a DC trip or taking a foreign language at the high school, this masked year of social distancing and Zoom classes helped us to make memories of our own. I know no one's forgetting baby Sergio's birth. We will also always remember the struggles of cameras and mics on Zoom calls with teachers. Some of our favorites were Mr. Hertenstein's complex camera setup that was never working quite right, or Mr. Eads screen sharing the movie The Last of the Mohicans, where we watched a fuzzy screen and lagging audio for an hour and a half over Zoom. We will also always remember that we were the first grade in the district to send kids home for close contact tracing. Thanks, Liv.
Oops, I never thought I'd make the news for that reason. Well, we've arrived at our last memories as middle schoolers. Reflecting on when we first crossed the stage brings many bittersweet memories for the end of this week. I never thought it would come so soon. We've truly been through it all, and I'm grateful for that. But on a happier note, who wants to recreate these on Friday? In the end, we survived middle school together. Bad fashion decisions, worst crushes, and cringy trends included. Somehow, we were able to make and keep friends through braces and awkward stages. I think middle school us would be proud, and now maybe slightly embarrassed, of how far we've come.
We are so thankful to have grown up in a community like Madeira, where we are supported by our teachers, administrators, and families every day. And we are even luckier to have these lifelong friends to share it with.
Thank you, Madeira.
And now, I am so thankful to have the privilege to introduce to all of you a person that means so much to the class of 2025 and myself. We were extremely lucky to have my mom, Mrs. Negley, as a fourth grade teacher just 8 years ago. Even though not all of us were in her class, her willingness to help and get to know any student she comes into contact with is what everyone loves most. She can always be seen going the extra mile to be her best for her students and give them all the kindness and love they could need. She can always be seen with past students, sometimes to chat or even just for a hug, whether that's at school, shopping at the mall, or even going through TSA. Students who had my mom last year or over 20 years ago just want their chance to see my mom again. Whenever I'm stopped with, "You're Mrs. Negley's daughter," I'm once again reminded of the impact she has made on so many young lives. Living with her has allowed me to see the tireless dedication it takes to be a teacher, especially to little kids. I see her selflessness in the early mornings and late nights to lead student organizations, plan fun class activities, and attend the recitals, games, and competitions of her students. While most of Madeira knows my mom as a language arts teacher, we were one of the special classes who were in fourth grade when she was asked to take on science too. Being able to tackle such big changes with an unwavering smile is one of her best traits that I hope to be able to emulate one day. In her classroom, you can feel her passion for making every student successful. I truly don't think I've ever seen a teacher more willing to pour her time into the individual needs of her students. She works to ensure that every student feels like they have a home at school and can be their best self. She is best known for her consistent example of compassion and leadership, a friend to all, and a great giver of advice. I'm so proud to introduce to all of you my mom, Mrs. Negley.
Thank you, Abby, for the warm welcome. Good evening, families, friends, teachers, administrators, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2025. It is more than an honor to have this time to speak to you. Thank you for this opportunity, and a special thank you goes to Mrs. Tucker and Mrs. Seelmeyer for their dedication and vision to create this amazing evening. We are so fortunate to have such a unique celebration for our seniors. Tonight, I'm representing a group of your biggest fans, the teachers of Madeira Elementary School, many of whom are here right now to show their unwavering support and love for all of you. In preparing to speak to you, I asked myself, how can I show my former fourth graders how much they meant to me? Or really, how much all of you meant to all of your teachers over the years. And what would I want my own child to hear? But also, what message will inspire every single person listening tonight? I took these questions to the most thoughtful and honest group of people I know, my current fourth graders. These 9 and 10-year-olds shared some amazing ideas with me. They also offered to advance my slides, help me read my speech, and one even said she would write the whole thing for me. Although it was really tempting to have a 4th grader stand in for me tonight, this is terrifying, we compromised. We decided that I could use some of their ideas, and in return, I would give my little advisors a special shout out. Elementary teachers do not break their promises, so thank you to Josie, Josh, Wade, Harper, Maggie, Swisher, Bella, Charlie, Winnie, Derek, Rosie, Avery, and Maddie. As you can see, I needed a lot of help. Seniors, some of you have been in Madeira since preschool or kindergarten. Some of you have attended school here for just a few years, while others joined your classmates somewhere in between. But regardless of when your educational journey began in Madeira, tonight's message is for you. In fact, it's for all of us. I'd like to continue with a read aloud, which is the way many of you might remember starting your days when you were in elementary school. This book has recently become a favorite of mine, and I love its message for readers and listeners of any age. It's called Be You by Peter H. Reynolds. You were born to be so many things. My wish for you, no matter where your journey leads, is for you to always be you. Be ready to take that next step toward becoming an amazing human being. Be curious. Turn every stone, ask every why, and keep digging deeply. Discover your own answers. Be adventurous. Live a big life. When you are ready, step outside your comfort zone. Bravely explore new paths and see where they lead you. Be connected. Find kindred spirits. Be with those who make you feel like the real you. Be persistent. Keep going, never stop. Keep going, never stop. Keep going, never stop. Be different. Be silly, be quirky, be odd. Be unique, be weird, be colorful. Be okay with being different. Be just the way you are. Be kind. Be understanding. Help those around you to be themselves. Listen, then listen some more. Learn more about who they are. Be brave. Try new things. Take a deep breath and plunge forward into new experiences. It gets easier every time you try. Be your own thinker. Think for yourself and set your own unique course. It isn't always easy, but you'll be heading in the direction of you. Be okay being alone. Take time to be on your own. Hear your own thoughts, your inner voice. Listen to your heart. Be patient. Being more you takes time. Take a deep breath. Relax. Let your future unfold at its own pace. It will be worth the wait. Be okay reaching out for help. When you need a helping hand, a compassionate ear, or an encouraging word, reach out. As you voyage out into the world, remember, no matter what, you will always be loved. After reading this book to both of my classes, we identified the most important messages. I mean, that's what language arts teachers do, right? We can't read anything without discussing main ideas, supporting details, and authors' messages. Whether you are a sibling, a grandparent, or a graduate, my students and I want you all to know that you can be anything you want to be. Your family and teachers will be here to support you. You will meet new people and be able to make new friends. It's okay to be nervous about what the future holds. This gives you an opportunity to face your fears. As you grow older, don't let go of your passions. Continue to weave your most special friends, delicious foods, meaningful songs, and favorite hobbies into everyday life. My students and I also decided that BU would not be complete without one more piece of advice. We wrote our own page into the book, and this part is just for you seniors. Be proud. In your life so far, you have woken up for school more than 2,000 times. You have spent school nights studying, creating, working, performing, competing, and taking care of each other. You connected with teachers and were often day makers without even knowing it. Your school days might have been filled with challenges and unknowns, but you did it. You took that first step toward each new day, and you will continue to move forward. For this, you should be proud. In your many years as a student, you have shown up for almost 100 different classes, spending over 17,000 hours in classrooms. Maybe learning how to write in cursive was tricky, but memorizing your multiplication facts was a breeze. Perhaps wearing a mask in school all day, instead of taking your class trip to Washington, D.C., made you realize that things don't always turn out the way you expect. But volunteering at places like Matthew 25 Ministries encouraged you to make a difference. Maybe giving impromptu speeches wasn't your thing, but you could have chatted all day with Gurr, Mrs. Euland, Brady, Magistra, Mr. Linder, and Mrs. Jordan. Difficult or simple, exciting or dull, fair or not, you put in the time and you did the work. Be very proud. Seniors, your accomplishments are numerous and diverse. You have filled buckets, won awards for your art, and learned new locker combinations. You performed in musicals and concerts, earned scholarships, and mastered typing in your lunch code. You bravely raised your hand to ask the question everyone around you wanted to ask. You competed in championships. You showed kindness to the person next to you without needing anything in return. For each of these, and so many more, we are absolutely beaming with pride. We know that your future is so bright, and with that, you should be so very proud. Tonight, our read aloud encouraged you to be ready, curious, adventurous, connected, persistent, different, and brave, just to name a few. Each of you possesses your own unique mix of each of these positive attributes. No two of you have the same combination. What you bring to your families, your teachers, your friends, and your community can't be replicated. You are irreplaceable. And what you are still looking to gain, we are here to help you find it. You are loved, you are you, and you are ready. So go ahead, be you, be very, very you. Congratulations, class of 2025.
What a great speech, ladies and gentlemen. Be you. What a fantastic message. At this time, we're going to change things up. We're going to switch things up. We're going to head on to what I like to call some interactive Q&A, you could say, with the audience. We're going to get you all included here. I want to start with a funny story with my friend Willie J. The other day, Willie J and I were chatting. We were chatting it up as we do, and he said, "Hey, Sebby, how come you always have so many candy bars?" And I said, "Well, Willie J, I always like to keep a few Twix up my sleeve." And speaking of Willie J, let's start things off strong with this Q&A. Hey, Willie J, who is your favorite senior?
Me.
William Gardner Jenkins, more like William Gandhi Jenkins, humble as always. Let's keep on moving. Hey, Tom, what's going to be at your grad party? What foods are we going to have? Some pizza, some calzones, maybe?
Yeah, right. You hit the spot there, Seb.
Some pasta?
Yep, of course. Yep.
Love pasta. You're homemade pasta, right?
Yep, I'm a chef. Yep.
Fantastic. Everybody pull up to Tom's grad party. Let's find Mrs. Adrick. Mrs. Adrick, I have a question for you. Because you have so many teachers in the family, and you were one yourself, where is a math teacher's favorite place to go on vacation?
It's not what you think.
What is it, Mrs. Adrick? What do you think? What do you think it is?
Times Square.
Oh, Mrs. Adrick, everybody. All right, let's see. My favorite bald guy of all time, Mr. Starr. Mr. Starr, I'm going to ask you, who's your favorite senior?
Wait, are you Willie J?
Mr. Starr.
Because I really like that Sebastian Feldkamp guy up there. He's a tall drink of water.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Starr. My favorite bald guy. Let's get Keen Pence. Keen Pence, what foods are at your grad party?
Potbelly sandwich is my favorite.
Delicious. Let's head on down to this side of the stage. Let's get some parents. Any parents want to be interviewed? Let's get some parents. I see Mr. Gravely way in there. I'm going to yell to you. Mr. Gravely, why did the gummy bear... I just gave up the joke. We're going to switch. Why did the bear... Excuse me. We're going to switch. Mr. Gravely. Why did the Oreo go to the dentist? Because he lost his filling. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gravely. And that's about all the time we got for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to hand the mic over to a great friend of mine, a legend, truly one of the best artists in the whole country, Ella Kukra.
Thank you for that, Sebi. Pablo Picasso hasn't necessarily inspired me with his art, but instead with his quote, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up." As a kid, I drew on every surface I could. Once I even painted stripes all over my arms and legs because I wanted to be a tiger. During elementary and middle school, I would get in trouble for drawing instead of paying attention in class. Additionally, my notebooks have consistently been covered top to bottom with incoherent sketches and doodles, sparking concern in many of my teachers. Now you can often find my clothes, hands, and carpet of my room, sorry mom, stained with different paint pigments. But my passion for art has only grown over the years, nurtured by supportive teachers, family members, and of course, my wonderful friends, all of whom have allowed me to become the artist I am today. Expanding on my previous point, passion and dedication are incredibly important to me. I love hearing about what makes other people happy, what they are interested in, and what gives them that drive to keep going, no matter how niche it may be. Because of this, I encourage each and every one of you to pursue your passion, to never forget what gives you motivation to wake up every single morning. Finding that flame and feeding it fuel will help create such a meaningful, fulfilling future ahead of you. Some of you may be majoring in your passions, while others might just be letting it rest as a hobby. But whatever the case is, whether art, sports, or an academic subject, keep doing what makes you happy. Like I said, every child is an artist, but also an athlete, a director, a dancer, a singer, a musician, a scientist, an aspiring astronaut or doctor, or a veterinarian. Never forget your initial dream and try to find a way to include it in your everyday life. Also, just because I like art and am the one making this speech, I encourage you to be just a little creative every day. Pick up those old crayons and a scrap piece of paper and just make something, like Evan's Manny drawing. Art teaches us patience, dedication, and empathy. Creativity allows us to express who we truly are when words are just not strong enough. And on that same note, here are some examples of senior-made art, accompanied by Danny and Sasha, who will be performing a jazz piece together. Thank you.
Good evening, Madeira High School. This is the actual best announcer, Willie J, here with your baccalaureate announcements.
Wait, Willie J. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your favorite announcer here. Hey, Will, what do you say we put this little competition between us to rest once and for all?
Didn't know we ever were competing, but sure, we'll give it a shot. I'll say them my way and you say them yours. How does that sound?
It sounds awesome. Then at the end, we'll ask the audience to vote. You guys can vote. Whoever cheers the loudest will be crowned the best announcer. Sounds good, Will. Let's get started. Good evening, Madeira High School.
Good evening, Madeira High School.
Here are your evening announcements for this wonderful Wednesday, May 21st.
Firstly, if anyone has school fees or pay to play, somehow we're still waiting on a couple of you guys, so make sure to get those in before you graduate.
Attention all staff, the meeting that has been scheduled for 2 p.m. tomorrow has been moved to approximately never.
A code brown has been reported in the area. Please remain calm and stop spilling coffee, please.
Folks, beginning next year, Tuesdays will officially be known as Dress Like a Pirate Day. Arrgh!
And I don't want to be the bad guy here, but I'd like to remind all students to please keep your voices down during speeches and segments.
And attention all seniors, don't forget to attend graduation. It's a pretty important event. Our call time is between 6:15 and 6:30 this Friday.
For common time, Seelmeyer, Tucker, Youngquist, Gergen, Wagner, and Candela all report to the cafeteria. I'm not sure about the other teachers, but I know Mrs. Seelmeyer and Mrs. Tucker alike will be very tuckered out after this evening is over.
Ladies and gents, speaking of people who aren't coming in tomorrow, for your guest teachers tomorrow, please extend a warm welcome to 5 legends. Mr. Caldwell in the building, Mr. Booth, Mr. Tim Booth in the building, Mr. Wolf in the building, Mrs. Post in the building, and Mrs. Booth as well in for Mr. Unger, because Mr. Unger will be giving a speech.
And for lunch changes, there won't be lunch. Instead, we will have treats, desserts, and goodies of many sorts in the cafeterias, so make sure to stay afterwards for that. That concludes the evening announcements. Make it a great day, and as always, go Mustangs, go Amazons, and go Madeira!
It's time for a vote of the audience. Please applaud now if you think Sebi was the best announcer. And now for Willie J. It's a close one, but I think Willie J is our winner. Willie J.
Thanks, everybody. It has been a pleasure and an honor. Sorry, Sebi. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be doing this for you guys for the past 3 years, and I am thrilled to welcome our next speaker, Addie Rockwell, to the podium.
Thank you, Will. Tonight, I wanted to talk about something that has shaped me in more ways than I can count: community. For me, the idea started with my father. You see, he grew up in this town, went to this school, played sports, and made many amazing memories. Eventually, he came back and realized he wanted to get back to the community that raised him. He knew there was something special about this place. That left an impression on me. It taught me there is something powerful in a small community. There is a closeness where you know that if you needed anything, there would always be someone there to lend a hand. Now, no community is perfect. Every place has its disagreements and rough edges. Yet despite the challenges, it's the relationships and shared moments that have left the deepest marks. In my journey, I have seen many people build in what makes Madeira great. But now I want to go back to when it all started: elementary school. One amazing teacher we all had was Mrs. Gulick, who is now retired, but many of you may remember her from gym class. She was a very important person in my life. She was one of the first people to introduce basketball to me. She led the Mini-Zons camps for first and second graders. Although I did play for a few extra years, my dad lied about my age. If you have met my father, you know he was very excited for me to get started. Mrs. Gulick introduced me to the sport that has led me to build some of the best friendships and taught me the most valuable lessons in life.
and for that I will be forever thankful. Another memorable teacher, if you were lucky enough to have her, was Mrs. Negley. Her smile could light up a room, and every lesson was filled with joy. Anytime I did something new, no matter how impressive, she made me feel like I won the lottery. She is someone who is given the gift to teach, and like my father, her husband is also a coach. Together, they have built into numerous kids and helped make this community the way it is. Moving into middle school, a time with many ups and downs, I wouldn't want to be the teacher who had to go through all our awkward years. The one teacher who put up with us the most was Mrs. Margraf, our 8th grade English teacher. Now, in case you forgot, which I doubt anyone has, that was back during COVID and some of the worst years of school. Half of the time, you were lucky enough to even be there. But on Zoom or in person, Mrs. Margraf always made sure you were included. For me, that was through books. During this time, I was discovering my love for reading, and she made sure to send new books home with my dad every other day. People like her should be an inspiration to everyone around. By demonstrating a love and compassion for her students, she has helped build the next generation of Madeira graduates. This next person might be a little selfish of me to include, but in my opinion, he deserves to be honored here tonight. My father, Rick Rockwell, has taught and coached here for over 30 years. He has poured his heart and soul into this school because he knows what I do. There was no other place like it. Then came high school, 4 years that felt like forever in 5 minutes all at once. We were lucky enough to have great teachers like Mr. Brady, who don't just build into his students, but also into his players. As I'm sure some of you know, he is the girls' varsity soccer coach and led them to a state championship this year. And we can't forget Mrs. Adams, who has also been a dedicated music teacher for years, going all the way back to elementary school. Mr. Unger, who has dedicated his life to not just teaching, but challenging kids to be better versions of themselves. Personally, I never thought I would understand the complexities of probability or polynomial expressions, but Mr. Unger challenged me. He told me that if everything were really easy, life would be boring. I also wanted to give a special thanks to Mr. Matsudo, who I believe has never once missed an athletic, musical, or charity event for this school. His care and dedication to this school and community is something to be admired. There are so many other people I could mention who have impacted me on this journey through life. Mr. Pruse, who volunteered to coach a 7th grade girls basketball team when no one else would. Mrs. Brewer, our middle school librarian, who handed me a book one day and inspired me to read. To Brooke, Grace, and Brittany, my young life leaders who helped me find faith when I needed it most. My aunt and uncle, along with their 4 kids, have shown me the blessings of a big family and made me want one of my own someday. And most of all, to my mother, who has been with me through everything. You see, community is not about the location, but about the people who create moments that can impact someone's life in a way you might not even know. I am just one person, and the speech I shared with you today is only a glimpse of my story. But imagine all the people who have touched your life in a way and made it better. That is what I want you to take away from tonight. I hope that in the next chapters of your life, wherever they may lead, you'll remember this school, this community, and these people who sacrificed to get you here today. And maybe one day you'll be a part of a community where you can help build into something bigger than yourself. Thank you. I will now like to welcome Will Unger to the podium.
Tonight, I'd like to introduce Coach Gurr. He's been my coach since elementary school, and my dad for even longer. we spent a lot of nights together in the back gym, kicking against the wall, and he supported me during my 2,000-day Khan Academy streak. He's known as a teacher who cares for and helps his students, but I'm his luckiest student because he's my dad. Please welcome Mr. Unger to the podium.
Gracias, Guillermo, Will Gurr, Hijo, mi jugador favorito. Mr. Matsudo, Mr. Bergen, Mr. Kennedy, Mrs. Bloomstrom, President Henry, and graduates in waiting for the class of 2025. Last month, I attended my 30th reunion at Harvard Law School. This is just another event that lets you know you're getting older and time is passing quickly. When you attend something like this, you can't help but reflect and assess where you stand among your peers. My first friend in college had her books turned into the series on Netflix called Bridgerton. 2 years ago, I joyfully went to the inauguration of my 3-year dorm mate as she became the first female governor of Massachusetts. I don't remember ever meeting Ketanji Brown Jackson, but I am proud to be the classmate of the first female African-American justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. I was good friends with the junior senator from Texas who relentlessly pestered her with questions about biology and children's books, just like Ted needlessly argued with me those many years ago. My buddy, whose application to Harvard Law School got turned down, ended up founding Blue Nile, Zulily, and Chewy.com, and a few months ago considered purchasing the Boston Celtics. And I don't want to forget my movie star classmate, Matt Damon. My less glamorous friends have exciting and often lucrative jobs in cities like New York, LA, DC, Atlanta, Seattle, San Juan, and Paris. Even at my age, so many of my peers are earning recognition and accomplishments. Meanwhile, I look in the mirror and see myself exactly where I was 28 years ago, right here, teaching and coaching at Madeira High School. Now, it's not like nothing has changed. Physically, I'm a little slower and a little heavier than when I arrived in the 90s. The hair is a little thinner, a little grayer, and there's been an ever so slight deterioration of my natural good looks. Mentally, I tire a little more easily. I can't do math in my head as well. I'll often forget things, sometimes within seconds of being determined to remember. I used to be able to look at my older colleagues and tell myself that I'm not that old, but the only one I can find anymore is Mr. Kitchen. And he's ageless. But I have to believe that what we lose in physical strength and mental sharpness, we make up for in wisdom. The last time I spoke at Baccalaureate, I talked about Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay called Compensation. In this essay, Emerson spoke of the fact that for every loss you suffer, there's an equal and opposite gain. You just have to find it. I've been fascinated by this idea over the years, and I found it to be true. So often, disappointment is followed by fulfillment. Defeat is followed by glory. Pain is followed by a healing, leaving you stronger than you ever were before. I've always marveled at Helen Keller. This deaf, mute, and blind woman was one of the most brilliant philosophers our world has ever seen. Would she have had such insight had she been normal and just like you and me? Helen Keller is the model of compensation, someone who found the equal and opposite benefit associated with loss. And compensation is all around us. Your class has shown me countless examples. Our terrific musicians and singers, our wonderful actors and recognized artists, our award-winning students in so many competitions, including the State Latin Convention, chess and academic team championships, finance wizards. One student who finds herself among many of these groups is Morgan Starr. You know Morgan as the competitive runner, the talented singer and dancer, and the actress who made Fetch happen this past spring. I know her best as the kind and brilliant student. Morgan was so good in my honors pre-calculus class that if she ever missed a point on a test, and I'm not sure she did, it was only to see what it felt like. Morgan's success in the classroom was no accident. I can remember multiple times over the past 4 years when I saw her dad at Kroger's on a Friday night, and I'd ask Mr. Starr what Morgan was up to. Invariably, he'd tell me, I think she's home studying, or she might be reading, but she's probably studying. Now, I know Morgan wasn't all work and no play, but I doubt any member of the class put more time into their schoolwork than Morgan did into hers. Her time is paid off with numerous honors and accolades. Some might say the compensation for Morgan's devotion to her studies comes from her full scholarship to the University of Alabama. More importantly, it has given her the knowledge and ability to pursue huge dreams, many she hasn't even dreamt of yet. And I suspect that someday, Morgan, Harvard guys are going to be working for you. On the other end of the spectrum in my pre-calculus class was Sebastian Feldkamp. to call Sebastian overextended really understates the definition of the word. Band, drama, choir, student government, announcing, working, flying planes, and even a season of track only begins to list a day in his life. No one puts themselves out there like Sebastian does, and because he sets no limits for himself, it's incredible the knowledge he's obtained. I know this firsthand. For many years, Sebastian has joined our family on spring break. A couple springs ago, my car was making hideous noises as we drove down to Florida. More than once, Sebastian, armed only with rolls of duct tape, dove under the car to do some kind of automotive surgery. Even the auto mechanics were baffled. But he got us home. Sebastian's efforts in so many endeavors have brought him more than expansive knowledge. They have given him the ability to relate to so many different kinds of people. He is a tremendous friend to many, certainly including Will. I'm grateful for their friendship, just as I'm grateful for ours. Though he's not a member of the class of 2025, I think it's fitting to discuss your teacher and coach, Dan Brady. Coach Brady had already won a girls' soccer state championship by the time I joined the team as assistant in 2015. In just my fourth game with the program, Brady suffered a heart attack that took him away from the squad. It would have been perfectly understandable for him to step away and rest on his laurels, but the truth is that Dan Brady couldn't live without coaching. But it had nothing to do with the competition. It had everything to do with the girls. Through an enormous effort, Coach Brady returned to that team in time for another successful postseason. When his house burned down 2 years ago, there was no question about this even beginning to interfere with his coaching obligations. At this point, I feel impelled to thank Coach Brady for giving me the opportunity to be a part of these girls' lives on the soccer field. And I also want to thank Coach Tony Ripperger for letting me be a part of the boys program, especially getting the chance to coach Will. As Tony and Joe Nagley know, there's something amazingly special about coaching your own child. Now, Dan Brady has no children of his own. He devotes everything he can to the Amazon soccer team. While he may be childless, his relationship with these girls goes far beyond player and coach. Our Zons didn't need to win the 2024 state championship to forever be a part of Coach Brady's family, but it sure will make for some heartfelt reunions. As we know, very few seasons end like the Zons did, raising a gold trophy in Columbus Crew Stadium. I like to tell the story from nearly 20 years ago about one of my favorite players on one of my favorite teams. In 2006, I had a senior, Nate Irvin, class of 2007, a backup who, despite battling a knee injury his entire career, did everything a coach could ask for. His example raised the level of more talented teammates, and he became a legitimately strong substitute forward on our team. With 12 seconds remaining in the state semifinals, our boys had valiantly fought to a 1-1 score against the #1 ranked team in the state, and it looked like we were heading to overtime when a ball flew out of bounds by our bench. Nate could easily have let the ball roll harmlessly to the fence. Instead, he made the sporting gesture of retrieving the ball for Worthington Christian. Our opponents took advantage of the situation by scoring a dramatic last-second game-winning goal, and 3 days later followed up by winning the state championship. To lose that way was shocking. Just like that, I was no longer coaching the most overachieving group of seniors I'd ever had the privilege of coaching. Needless to say, Nate was devastated. A few months later, I received a letter from the parent of a Worthington Christian player. In it, he wrote, "On watching the videotape of our winning goal against you, we were stunned to see that one of your players got the ball for us on the sideline. It was a class act by a class team. Through the years, we've learned that Madeira players show great respect for their opponents and great respect for the game." The defeat was gut-wrenching, but the compliment that followed was unforgettable. As I told the boys after the game, you should never have to apologize for acting with decency and honor. That game and that moment were among my proudest as a coach. I left law to become a teacher and a coach. I stepped down as a head coach to have more time at home. The greatest compensation I've had as a retired head coach has been the opportunity to spend more time with my own son. And now I want to talk to you about your classmate, William Jason Unger. It couldn't have been easy walking the halls being besieged by your dad and your aunt and your papa at just about every turn. As the son of 2 Madeira teachers and the grandson of 2 Moors, the academic expectations could have been crushing, but Will more than met them. The often Morgan star-like hours, not always undertaken without great reluctance, spent studying with his mom, his aunt, yes, his dad, and especially his Nana, along with the guidance of an extraordinary teaching staff, have allowed him to develop into a thoughtful, curious, and intelligent learner. It won't surprise you that I want to talk to you about Will Unger, the soccer player. Our Final Four Mustangs were full of talented, athletic, and committed players, but I'm not sure if anyone spent more time on their game than Will did. A little used sub for most of his career, Will never stopped working. While hardly a true sprinter, he ran track every winter and spring, and he and I spent more hours than I can tell you in the back gym kicking against the wall. For all 4 years of high school, before every game and after every practice, Will and I would put in extra time. And while it didn't always lead to more opportunities in games, Will knew he was improving. His capabilities grew. His confidence rose. Somewhere in the middle of this past season, Coach Ripperger began to trust Will with more playing time in critical moments, and more often than not, Will delivered. He was on the field in the final minutes of that glorious upset over Marymount in the sectional championship game. And with 15 minutes left in the district final, with the score tied 1-1, Coach Ripperger called Will's name to re-enter the game. Classmate Miles Sutton intercepted a ball and got it to Ben Reed. Ben found Will streaking, using every ounce of speed he'd developed running track to beat his defender backdoor down the right wing. Will looked like he was going to fire at the top of the box, but he chose to center a ball through our opponents into the path of classmate Andrew Sarametis, who unleashed a beauty of a left-footed one-timer. And we were district champions. Kenji, as he so often does, put a tweet up capturing that play. As of last night, it had been watched 13,253 times, and I think I'm responsible for over 12,000 of them. Because that video reminds me of the compensation Will got for those years and years of spending hour after hour, so that when his one biggest moment arrived, he was ready. And the angle is perfect to see you, his classmates and schoolmates, celebrating him and his teammates, as gratifying a memory as I'll ever have as a coach or as a parent. That video is more than compensation for all the time I spent with Will. And I can tell you, graduates, that your success and safety and happiness and fulfillment more than compensates for anything that we, your parents and family, can ever do for you. Over the past 28 years, I've read my fair share of books. I'll read just about anything, but my favorite books are biographies and autobiographies of great men and women. I read these books in the hopes that I can learn from these people. Some common lessons have come through. Nearly every successful person I've read about has a period in their lives where they are down and out, periods of terrible frustration, periods where they make horrendous mistakes, periods of desperation where achievement seemed beyond reach. Thomas Edison had over 10,000 failed experiments before he finally invented the light bulb. One of my favorite coaches, Herb Brooks, thought he had already made the 1960 Olympic hockey team before becoming the last man cut. Herb was watching at home with his dad when that team won the gold medal, at which point his dad told him, "It looks like they made the right decision." 20 years later, in 1980, it was Herb Brooks who was making those decisions that led to the miracle on ice. Ann Sullivan was Helen Keller's phenomenal teacher. After being taken for granted and stymied by Helen's parents, Miss Sullivan, who was legally blind herself, became so depressed with her situation that she nearly left the Keller household in disgust before seeing even a fraction of what was to become of Helen's miraculous progress. Abraham Lincoln lived through many days which tried men's souls before bringing a conclusion to the Civil War, which ended slavery and saved the United States of America. A common theme among nearly every great person who ever lived is that they were able to hang on just a little longer where other people may very well have given up. They are able to find the positive aspects of negative situations. They are able to demonstrate an understanding of Emerson's compensation. Understanding compensation and reaping its benefits largely comes down to your attitude. Will you be the type who wallows in self-pity? Will you be the one who always sees the sky falling? Or will you be the one who sees the silver lining in every dark cloud? And will you be the one who anticipates the sun coming up tomorrow? As you move into your futures, I'm not going to wish you a fairy tale life where you live happily ever after. I'm not going to wish you a road without bumps and dead ends and obstacles. I'm not going to wish you a world without hardship. Instead, I'm going to wish you the strength to persevere when everything around you is falling apart. I'm going to wish you the ability to rise from the ashes and bounce back stronger than ever when it seems like nothing is going your way. I'm going to wish you the faith, wisdom, and guidance to overcome all which comes to you, to find the silver lining in every cloud, to find the compensation in every loss. Vince Lombardi, the famous football coach, put it well when he said, "The glory is not in never falling down. The glory is in fighting to get up every time you do get knocked down." Another writer said this thought in a different way, which I have always found inspiring. "Only when the sky is darkest can I see the stars." Yes, my friends from Harvard have acquired fame, fortune, and power. They can order meals at the fanciest restaurants in the world, while I get to jostle with you in our cafeteria lunch line. They get interviewed by Oprah in the New York Times, while I get interviewed by Kate or Autumn on What's Up Madeira. They can pay for all the hired help they need 1,000 times over, but I can turn to Tommaso or Francie or Michael or many others from a small army of Zons and Stangs whenever I need a hand. They get fan mail and VIP boxes, while I get small messages from Travi T and Sonia and Ella and Gianna, which I will treasure forever, and I get the best seats in the house for any game I need to see. You don't become a teacher for the fame or for the money. I'm most proud of my successful friends, and while they have been blazing trails, I may have lost a step or two on the field, and more than a few hairs on the head, but I've gained a lifetime of experiences and relationships with students like you, a son I'm proud of, and the satisfaction that I've played a small role in what I know will be many future achievements and lives well led by you graduates. It has been the highest privilege teaching you, and an honor I won't forget speaking to you tonight. I join your friends, families, and all your teachers in celebrating every one of you. Congratulations and Godspeed to the Madeira High School class of 2025.
For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not. But choose the things he truly feels.
Do you mind?
We're kind of practicing.
Are we performing?
I don't know, I guess.
We're not on the program. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a weird interlude.
It's like a transition.
Yeah. I wonder why they need us.
I don't know. Kind of a nice message, though.
Yeah, my
Right?
way.
Tying it in, like staying strong in the face of adversity, eating it up, you know. Sometimes you bite off more than you can chew, but you spit it out.
Words to live by, words to live by.
know.
It's a great song, very reflective of
Yeah.
my experience here.
But-
And you know, I think that song is so good, we ought to finish it
We
together.
gotta finish it out.
Come on.
Come on, we need. I don't know if we can do it ourselves, though.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
we get some help?
The record shows. You get that key
The
right
record
or I'll
shows,
die. Okay.
Ready? We're gonna start on the record shows.
3, 2, 1. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the screen's down. Speaking of words to live by, I now invite us to watch a video made by Autumn Daly and Anna Cornejo. Sorry.
Is it on? I think so. Okay, ready? Go. Hi, class of 2025.
We made you guys a little film full of some advice from your friends and teachers.
And we spent a lot of time on it, so we hope you guys love it.
I wish somebody would have told me, babe, someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was thinking about the band. I was thinking about the fans. We were underground, loading merch in that 12-passenger van in a small club in Minnesota, and the snow outside of First Ave. I just wanted my name and a star. Now look at where we at, still growing up, still growing up. I would lay in my bed and dream about what I've become. Couldn't wait to get older, couldn't wait to be some. Now that I'm here, wishing I was still young. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. 'Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that glass first. Wish I made it to homecoming. Got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would've gotten out of my shell. Wish I put the bottle back on that shelf. Wish I wouldn't have worried about what other people thought and felt comfortable with myself. Rooftop open and the stars above. Moment frozen, sneaking out and falling in love. Me, you, and that futon. We just begun. On the grass dreaming, figuring out who I was. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. This night you won't regret.
I have a fear of speed bumps, but I'm slowly getting over it. I visited the Moon restaurant the other day. Great food, but no atmosphere. Another one. There was a kidnapping at the elementary
get back to it. What up, class of 2025? Parents, friends, teachers. I'm Michael Lauterbach, and this is Vivian Momper. And we're super excited to introduce the rest of our grade. You know, Vivian, I really wish Mr. Linder was here today. I'm really gonna miss that guy.
Me too, Michael. This class is truly an awesome group, and we wanted to take some time to recognize our amazing class for all of their incredible accomplishments and outstanding qualities. Let's start off with our biggest hype man, Sebi Feldkamp.
We can always count on him to make us feel our best. His scintillating vocabulary and flamboyant Hawaiian t-shirts will be missed. You know who else makes my day? Jocelyn Stockmeister, our most enthusiastic friend.
Definitely. While some of us are super outgoing, like Katie Dickus, who's the most extroverted, others are better at brightening our smiles in a more gentle way. Gianna Schuler and Lindsay Valeda are quiet and sweet.
On the other hand, Addie and Eve are more the quiet but sassy type. While these ladies like to be more soft-spoken, Julie and Leah sure don't. They always have a lot to say.
Ava has a lot to say too, but because she's our leader, everyone wants to listen. She's the most involved in all of our clubs and activities.
I wish I was that responsible. Aline definitely is, because she's most likely to be our future president.
And while Aline's busy running our country, Morgan's making big strides in her future career in microbiology, for sure winning a Nobel Prize for her work.
I'm sure we'll see some others make it big too. Xylem is a future award-winning animator, and Nina and Christian will be in the bright lights on Broadway.
Mateo Castillo will also be a part of the production, being the glue that keeps it all together. And Willie J, don't forget about us when you have your own star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
As you can tell, we have some pretty talented singers among us. Caroline Horak is the next winner of The Voice.
And although Molly's also an amazing singer, she tears it up on the dance floor with her Irish jig to outshine us all.
While these stars are sharing their voice to the world, Autumn makes sure we hear hers on the daily. She's most likely to break out into song.
Autumn, you have the voice of an angel. Unfortunately, we have another classmate who also likes to sing. Natalie, I love you, but not your singing.
Our class also has many other talents. Kate Manzi is most likely to make the world beautiful with her amazing artwork.
Danny's beats are like no other.
Carson's pastries are the best of the best.
And Cameron Long impresses us all with his backbends. Rumor has it he doesn't even have a spine. Someone who's always bending over backwards for everyone is Abby. She puts everyone's needs before her own and showcases her talents in all areas, which is why she's the best all around.
I'd like to take a moment to give a round of applause to all of our amazing students, teachers, coaches, counselors, and staff for their hard work this year.
Let's also give a round of applause for all of our amazing parents who have put in so much energy to get us to this point in our lives. Special shout out to Jill and Nick Lauterbach because we know you did the best you could.
Our parents play an important role in our lives, sometimes more than we realize. The genes are strong in our friend Sammy, who will definitely be a future hot dad.
And we've already gotten a sneak peek of how Zimmer might age, and I'm super jealous.
Although Greg and Andrew might share DNA, they definitely aren't sharing anything else. They like to do their own thing.
Speaking of parents, we can see Colin Miranda grilling out in his backyard every weekend, which is why he's our future barbecue dad.
He might need tips from Garen, though, who's the next Gordon Ramsay.
I know we won't see Corinne at that cookout because she'll be at Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A too, but I hate driving there. So I wish I had Lance's motorcycle.
Yeah. It's really cool, but I think Mickey's car is more my speed. I think she knew how much I loved it and wanted to share her paint on my back bumper.
Cute cars have nothing on this couple. We're all envious of Cameron and Chanel.
can definitely see Owen committed to his work in the long run.
Kate is really good at long runs too. We'll probably see her someday in the Olympics.
Someone who's sure to be at every single game to watch is Julian.
Logan's also probably there, but this time as our go-to ticket scanner.
The fans will probably all be there to watch Anna play soccer. We'll all be cheering her on when she continues her athletic career at George Washington University next year. But her superlative has nothing to do with how well she scores goals. Anna has the biggest golden retriever energy.
Our class is very talented when it comes to all things sports. Liam Bowen is the most committed to the grind in his football endeavors. Kobe is the most persevering, and Emma leads the CHL in number of times she's gotten hit at bat.
Lauren is most likely to already know these stats because they're always hard at work in the yearbook.
My yearbook picture is always terrible. I really should have got some help from Laura because she's sure to help everyone look their best as she continues her studies in cosmetology.
Malia doesn't need any help though. Her vibe is on point. I wish I was that cool all the time.
A lot of classmates spread good vibes. I can always rely on Emmy and Ella to brighten up my day because they are some of the nicest people that I know. And Callie Alexander has a heart that's 3 sizes too big.
Big. I know someone who definitely knows how to fill up a room with their presence. Michael, you have the biggest personality I know. On the other hand, Kayla's is like no other.
And I know everyone wants to be around Emma because she is a friend to all. Thanks for always being there for us.
I also always want to be around Emmy because she has the best smile. She has a way of brightening the entire room with just one look.
Smiles aren't the only thing contagious around here. Addie and Evan are sure to be heard from a mile away with their infectious laughs.
On the other hand, Francie takes infectious to a new level with her laugh. Or cough. I can't really tell sometimes. We have some other classmates who have also shown bright for their dazzling appearances.
Evelyn Carey has the best eyes.
Sean Cummins has the best eyelashes.
And Chris Mendoza Sanchez and Dom Todd have the best mustaches.
Also, Sean Gears and Theo Landis Ashbaugh have the best hair. Although they may have the best hair, Aiden's is definitely the fluffiest.
And with all that hair, someone had to find a way to tame it. Miles Sutton has the best headbands.
And head to toe, our school has got style. Sam Putoff has the best Crocs.
But the two with the coolest style are definitely Anna Wagner and Jason Metcalf.
Some of our classmates have curated their own personal look. Mario is most likely to be a cowboy. And Sayla could definitely be an ancient Roman empress.
And if we're going back in time, Ian would be the #1 candidate for a Peaky Blinder.
Maybe we'll also see Braxton with the high-end style on the runway because she's our next top model.
Olivia Bowles will also make headlines because she'll be on the cover of Vogue. Tyler and Travis's names will also be known, since they're probably taking the award-winning pictures.
Speaking of pictures, have you ever seen a bad one of Olivia Bodley? I think it's impossible to catch her off guard. She's the most photogenic person I know.
I cannot relate to Olivia at all. I'm almost sure Ryan Calloway has taken a horrible sports photo of me at some point. Thanks again for not posting those pictures.
We've always known these classmates have made an impression with their appearances, but some have come as more of a surprise. Leo Bayhue has had the biggest glow up.
Also a big surprise was how much Beckham has grown.
You know what's not a surprise? How good Evan is on camera. He's most likely to go viral.
Ella's also pretty popular in the media because her artwork is incredible. Congrats again for your amazing accomplishments this year.
I know Ella's the next Picasso, but what will our other classmates be up to in their 30s?
Gabe will still be right here. He probably won't ever leave Madeira.
On the other hand, I'm guessing Ridley will be halfway across the world.
Nora will probably be your nurse.
Keegan will be playing golf in his mansion in Florida.
Connor will be cutting it up on the ice.
And Sam will be a robot. All that dancing really takes a toll on your joints.
While Sam's busy being a robot, Matthias will be inventing his own to take over the world someday.
Sam Kaiser will be surviving the inevitable zombie apocalypse that follows. And John Miguel will be doing his best to save the world. We hope that degree in environmental engineering really comes in handy.
Will also might be trying to save the world, but this time it's only from Tommaso using ChatGPT again.
Someone who has saved us all for every test is Sonia. I can always rely on her Quizlets to help me pass.
Nora and Nate don't need to use those though, because they get A's through their hard work and dedication.
These two always make sure to turn in their homework on time. I think Nathan forgot his at home though, or maybe the dog ate it.
Don't worry, Nathan. We all forget things sometimes, but I don't think any of us could ever forget Wilger.
Wes Nelson also has an impeccable memory because he will always beat you in trivia.
And don't even think about challenging Vivian to a race because you'll lose in that too.
Although I might have you beat on foot, Owen will definitely beat you in the water.
And if walking through the hallways was a competition, Spencer Schonk would win every time with his roller shoes.
While we're on the topic of contests, do not have a stretch off with Keen. He can turn into a human pretzel in a matter of seconds.
Don't you just love the smell of a nice hot pretzel? I know what smells even better. Sergio!
That is so true. I need to know where he gets his cologne from. He probably gets all the girls.
Oh, trust me, he does. I know he's a ladies' man. On the other hand, rumor has it Camden seems pretty locked down at the moment. Some are saying he's gonna get married first.
That sounds about right. He's getting to that point in his life. But honestly, I'm not too sure if he's gonna be the only one, considering Braden and Isaac's bromance has reached a new level this year.
I never see those two boys apart from each other.
It's a shame it's not the weekend because Saturdays are for the boys. Kate also loves Saturdays because she's the life of the party.
She can get a little crazy sometimes. At least we always know what she's up to. Orion, on the other hand, is completely unpredictable. That's why he's our most chaotic.
And for every burst of energy, there's a calm, collected person. Peter just likes to go with the flow.
However, don't get most laid back confused with Owen's vibe, because he is most nonchalant. So ladies, don't be surprised if he doesn't text you back.
This is not a character trait you want to have if you're going on The Bachelor, which would most likely be Carson Schaefer.
While Carson is busy sweet-talking the ladies, these two will be doing anything but that. If you choose to strike up a conversation, prepare to get roasted. Brooklyn and Sasha are the most sarcastic.
And although they might not always be 100% serious, Meryl and Kate will tell you exactly how they feel.
Someone who will always be there for them is Melina, because she is our best listener.
I hope that after listening to all of our classmates' accomplishments and talents, you have an even better appreciation for how hard this class has worked.
Congratulations, class of 2025, for your dedication and lasting impressions on this school and the Madeira community.
Go Zons and Stangs.
so young. Maybe you always look back and think it was better than it was. Maybe these are the moments. Maybe I've been missing what it's about. Been scared of the future, thinking about the past while missing out on now. We've come so far. I guess I'm proud, and I ain't worried about the wrinkles around my smile. I got some scars. I've been around. I felt some pain. I've seen some things, but I'm here now.
Hey seniors, my advice would be to remember that you have no idea what's going to happen in your life. So try to take some deep breaths and don't get too worried and enjoy yourself.
Graduates of 2025, my advice to you, be true to yourself.
Remember to be brave and kind.
Seniors, my best advice for you graduating this 2025 year is to not be afraid of the unknown.
Salve te omnes. It's me, Easter, here to give you some advice for as you go off to college. My number one thing to remind you is to always follow your heart and your joy, because then it won't feel like work every single day.
Hey seniors, congratulations. My advice is to have fun, but also know when to take care of business.
Hey seniors, my best advice for you is remember to call your mom. She wants to hear from you.
Be a good friend, because you need good friends in life, and the best way to make good friends is to be a good friend.
Is it on? I said, remember this moment in the back of my mind. The time we stood with our shaking hands, the crowds and stands went wild. We are the kings and the queens, and they read off our names. The night you danced like you knew our lives would never be the same. You held your head like a hero on the history book page. It was the end of the decade, but the start of an age. Long live the walls we crashed through, how the kingdom lights shine just for me and you. And I was screaming, long live all the magic we made, and bring out all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered. I said, remember this feeling. I passed the pictures around from all the years that we stood there on the sidelines, wishing for right now. We are the kings and the queens. You traded your baseball cap for a crown. And when they gave us our trophies, and we held them up for our town, and the cynics were outraged, screaming, this is absurd. 'Cause for a moment a band of thieves in ripped up jeans got to rule the world. Long live the walls we crashed through, how the kingdom lights shine just for me and you. And I was singing, long live all the magic we made, and bring out all the pretenders. I'm not afraid. Long live all the mountains we moved. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. Long live
that look on your face and bring out all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered. Hold on to spinning around confetti falls to the ground. May these memories break our fall. Will you take a moment? Promise me this, that you'll stand by me forever. But if, God forbid, fate should step in and force us into a goodbye, if you have children someday, when they point to the pictures, please tell them our names. Tell them how the crowds went wild. Tell them how they hope you shine. Long live the walls we crashed through. I had the time of my life with you. Long, long live the walls we crashed through. All the kingdom lights shine just for me and you. And I was singing, long live all the magic we made, and bring on all the pretenders. I'm not afraid. Singing, long live all the mountains we moved. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. And I was singing, long live that look on your face, and bring on all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tucker, for helping me put my gown back on. Baccalaureate is truly an evening of remembering. It's a time to look back on all the scintillating accomplishments, stories, and people that have inspired us and influenced us to do good. It's also a night of celebration, a night to celebrate who we are, what we have done, and all of the amazing things that we are destined to accomplish. But let's not stop here. Let us carry on our celebration wherever our lives may take us. I am deeply honored to be a part of this fantastic graduating class, and I would like to extend deep gratitude to everyone for joining us tonight. Class of 2025, Mrs. Tucker and Mrs. Seelmeyer will be dismissing you by rows. Once they have released you, you may go to the cafeteria for cookies provided by the PTO. Thank you again for joining us.